Thomas was sent to Croven's Gate Works to be repaired, and even though Edward was rather kind to him, Thomas felt very miserable. However, work on the Farquhar branch line proved to be too much for Toby and Duck to handle alone, so Sir Topham had brought Percy out of his punishment early. Which was a good decision, because by then, he had learned his lesson, and with his help, they were able to get back on top of the work. One morning, Toby was taking some stone down from the quarry when he saw Bertie coming towards the crossing, but to his horror, he wasn't slowing down. Both vehicles only just missed. And when Toby pulled into Farquhar Station, Bertie was most apologetic. "Oh, I'm very sorry, Toby. I've got a new driver, you see. He seems to think I can beat you to the crossing." "That's all right. I just hope he doesn't put you in harm's way again." Duck had overheard the conversation and was very concerned. "Didn't your driver see the crossing gates, Bertie?" "There are no gates, Duck. It's..." "No gates? Toby, how could you run on a line with no gates? It isn't proper. Road vehicles wouldn't know when to stop." "I know when to stop, thank you." "It's for your safety as well as ours, Bertie. Toby, you need to ask Sir Topham Hatt to put gates up at that part of the line at once. You should have asked him when you first arrived." Before Toby could reply, the whistle blew and Duck stormed away. "I don't believe it, Percy," said Duck in the shed. "I never thought Toby would be foolish enough to run on an unsafe line."
"The line is safer because Toby runs on it. You shouldn't worry, Duck. If Sir Topham Hatt thought gates were needed, they would have been there from the start."
Duck snorted. They were needed, in his opinion. Next day, Duck was back on the passenger runs. He was enjoying the scenery enormously. He passed a crossing by a small farm, the gates keeping traffic at bay. "No, that's the way," said Duck. "Just like a proper railway." Just up the line is Crow's Farm Crossing, but recently it had been having trouble with its gates. No matter how hard the farmer pulled the lever, the gates would often get stuck. And more often than not, he would have to get out and give them a push. However, today the farmer's friend was filling in for him. He pulled the lever and went back to his coffee, but he didn't know that the gates were stuck. And nobody had warned Duck about the faulty gates either, and as Duck puffed towards them, he saw that they were closed, but he didn't worry. They'll open, he said to himself. But they didn't. That's strange. They still didn't budge. Stop! Stop! Wailed Duck. His driver applied the brakes, but it was too late. Duck opened his eyes to find that he had destroyed the crossing gates. But there wasn't time to examine him. Traffic was piling on the side of the crossing. But luckily Percy arrived and pulled him clear from the wreckage. But when the two engines finally arrived at Farquhar, Toby and Bertie found it a great joke. "Hey Toby, who's that?" "Why, it's Duck, but it appears he can't decide between pulling a train and being a crossing guard." "Well, whatever he's doing, it doesn't look very safe to me." Duck looked at his buffers, decorated by the broken gate. However, Duck's front wasn't too badly damaged and he was soon repaired. And coincidentally, Thomas was repaired the next day, meaning Duck could finally go back to Knapford Station. But one thing's for sure, he didn't make any comments about safety for quite some time.